I had been carrying that child in my womb for over 2 months, and it was a part of me. I slapped her across the face and uttered 2 words. Get out! She covered her face and wanted to say something more, but Cecilia kicked her out. Simone! You little bitch. I'm leaving my words here today. Only one of us can remain in the entertainment industry. I'll fight you till the end. Just wait and see. I'll expose all your evil doings and rotten affairs little by little. I will destroy you, even if I have to bet on everything I have. I was glad to have a best friend like Cecilia. However, I kind of regretted merely slapping Simone. After 5 days in the hospital, I was discharged. The first thing I did after getting discharged was to call Jalen to go to the city hall and obtain our divorce certificate. I did not wish to wait for another day. After receiving my call, he picked me up from the hospital. Instead of taking me to the city hall, he sent me home, saying that he would let me rest for a few more days and that there was no hurry to get the certificate. If you're worried that Grandpa Andrew will blame you, I'll explain to him. I figured it must be Andrew who put pressure on him to prevent him from getting a divorce now. Spencer told me everything. After he beat up Jalen in the hospital that day, the latter went home and Andrew beat him with his walking cane several times. That was also the day I realized I would no longer feel sorry for him. 18. It's not because of Grandpa. What then? Because of guilt. I looked up to lock gazes with him and found that his deep eyes held a few more emotions that I had not seen before. I could not figure it out, and I did not want to either. At present, I just wanted to divorce him so that we could go our separate ways. At my insistence, he ultimately took me to the city hall. When I came out with the divorce certificate, I suddenly felt very relaxed. I had loved him for over a decade, but it ended in this way. Jalen, I wish you both happy. I raised the corners of my lips to form what I thought was a very sincere smile. However, deep down, I was wishing for his happiness alone. They did not deserve it, and especially her. 19. Due to being hospitalized, I missed recording a variety show with Simone. Cecilia mysteriously told me that she had taught Simone a lesson for me. I was curious as to how she did it, but she kept the suspense going by saying that I would find out when the show aired. On the day the show aired, Cecilia, Spencer, and I watched it at Spencer's house. Simone was embarrassed the entire time as Cecilia made full use of her sharp tongue. It was a show where cast members visited the countryside and lived in a big house with a yard for 2 days and 2 nights. Everyone worked in the fields and cooked meals together. Simone's persona was that she came from the countryside and could endure hardships. Also, she could never put on weight. However, she did not know how to plant wheat and peanuts or light a fire with firewood in the show, and her persona collapsed instantly. During mealtime, Cecilia told the cameraman to zoom in on Simone's face and dished out a large bowl of noodles for her to eat. She reasoned that the latter could never put on weight, and it was to advertise the noodles in her hometown. What was worse, when she got up the next day, Cecilia deliberately started a live stream for her fans early in the morning and accidentally filmed Simone applying minimal makeup. Cecilia's live stream was at 6:30, while the television crew started shooting at 7. How could someone who was applying makeup at 6:30 appear completely barefaced on screen at 7? The worst thing was that someone in the television crew asked about their relationship, and Simone said that she had never been in one. Cecilia immediately sneered and said bluntly, "I didn't mean to laugh at you, Miss Quigley. I just think everyone has a few rumored boyfriends. Maybe they haven't made it official yet, but my rumored boyfriends and I only have business relationships. Is the one you can bring home also just a rumored boyfriend, Miss Quigley?" Simone had scandals with people in the industry very early on. Later, she was photographed spending the night with Jalen. A few days ago, she even posted a tweet, which read, "You are finally mine." What a blatant slap in the face. Simone's expression turned gloomy at what she said. She hesitated for a long time before saying with an awkward chuckle, "That was just hanging out with friends. I didn't take anyone home. I had many friends with me that day." As soon as the show came out, it was followed by Simone's crumbled persona trending online. Everyone was criticizing Simone for being fake. They commented that her acting skills had been worsening even though she had studied abroad for so many years. Apart from the lack of acting skills, she also had no reputation. Some even went as far as to say that she might as well die abroad and never come back. Of course, there were Simone's fans who criticized Cecilia, but they were all rebuked by my and Cecilia's fans. There had been rumors about me and Simone being on bad terms since long ago, and everyone knew that Cecilia and I were good friends, so it only confirmed the rumor. In short, the end result was that Cecilia risked her reputation to teach Simone a lesson verbally for me, and let her first stop in her comeback end in failure. But this little blow is nothing to her. Once she and Jalen got married, she would not care about it at all. Although I had given up, I still felt sad when I thought of that. Jalen did not want my child, but he would treat Simone's child as a treasure in the future. There was a significant difference between children who were loved and those who were not. Don't worry, they won't get married, Cecilia said solemnly as she held my hand. Huh? What do you mean? I looked at Cecilia in bewilderment. You can't seriously think that what I said about messing with her was just criticizing her in a perfunctory way on the show. Cecilia winked at me slyly. I still did not understand what she meant. Spencer tapped me on the head and said, "You're dumb. She has a game changer. Of course, that woman isn't simple." What is it? I was very curious and wondered what they had found behind my back. Instead of telling me, Cecilia asked, "When will you return to work?" "Next week. I'll start by shooting an advertisement and filming the show on Friday." The show was scheduled for their episode previously, but due to my health, the television crew temporarily postponed the episode for me. Tell me now, what's the big show you're both planning? You'll know when the time comes. They both acted mysterious and refused to tell me. In the recording of the next episode, Zachary wore the shirt I gave him as a birthday gift. With his deep facial features, he attracted the attention of the audience the instant he stepped onto the stage. The light shone on his neat face, and his delicate facial lines seemed to have been carved by the creator himself. It was my first time sitting in the auditorium with my assistant. Amidst the screams, I heard some whispers. "Oh my God, Zachary's stylist today deserves a reward. He looks so good in this outfit." That's right, the clothes really show off his figure. Look at his legs, his waist. Hey! Can you imagine him taking off his clothes? Damn, you make me shy. As my hubby, he must be in good shape with beautiful muscles. I watched joyfully at the show's beginning, but then I almost left with rage because of the girls' illusions about Zachary. My parents asked me to take Zachary home for dinner today, so I had to wait until the recording finished. However, when the recording was over, I was stopped by Timothy. "Ava, your husband is Zachary, isn't he?" I was stunned at first and then thoughtfully answered, "Yes, my husband is Zachary J. But it's purely coincidental that he has the same name as the show judge." Timothy's lips curved into a sneer. "Come on, I can recognize his voice." He continued to deride. "You've married him and born him a baby, but he has just become famous. Can he bear to lose popularity by exposing the marriage?" Unwillingness glistened in his eyes. "I don't think it has anything to do with you." My voice turned cold. "It was my fault for being with you because I liked your pretty look. But so many years have passed." "Timothy, you are not such a petty man, are you?" Timothy stared at me with a reluctant gaze. Just as he was about to refute me, an arm pulled me back from behind and wrapped around my waist. "Honey, why are you still here? Mom and Dad have been waiting for us for a long time." Zachary's gentle voice came from behind. I turned around, at a loss. I looked into Zachary's profound eyes and saw my reflection. For a moment, I was so immersed in his gaze and his embrace that I almost surrendered to my feelings for him. He raised his eyes and glanced at Timothy in front of him. "Our child will turn 100 days old in a few days. Are you interested in taking a look at him?" I grabbed Zachary's arm tightly and signaled him to stop talking nonsense. Rage flashed across Timothy's eyes. He turned around and left with his mouth tightly closed. One of Zachary's hands held my elbow, which was about to hit him, while his other hand landed on my shoulder. "Have you thought about making our relationship public on Twitter?" There was a hint of pride in his voice. His voice was not loud, but it was clear enough for Timothy to hear every word. I silently mouthed the word boring to Zachary. He smiled indifferently and bent to whisper in my ear, "You don't want to act with me?"